The air around Buffalo is starting to feel electric, and maybe even a little spooky. With the 2025 NFL trade deadline just 4 days away, the Bills Mafia can feel something brewing. Rumors are swirling, insiders are talking, and the front office might just be plotting its next big move. Before we dive into the latest reports, here's a quick reminder for every die-hard Bills fan watching: before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. Now, back to business. The Buffalo Bills have been connected to several potential trade targets, but one name has stood out more than the rest: Budda Baker, the hard-hitting safety from the Arizona Cardinals. According to reports from ESPN's Ben Solak, Baker could be a player on Buffalo's radar as the team looks to reinforce its secondary. Solak pointed out that the Bills' defense has shown some vulnerability this season, especially against intermediate routes and third-level runs. With Taylor Rapp landing on injured reserve and veteran Jordan Poyer now starting alongside rookie Cole Bishop, the safety depth isn't what it used to be. And while Poyer's experience is invaluable, at 34 years old, there are legitimate concerns about long-term durability as the playoff push approaches. That's where Budda Baker comes in. The 29-year-old safety has long been known as one of the league's most fiery competitors, a player who brings relentless energy and toughness to every snap. Baker isn't the prototypical ball hawk, with his last interception coming back in 2022, but his impact goes far beyond turnovers. Last season, he racked up 5 pass breakups and continued to excel in run defense. However, this season has been a mixed bag. According to advanced metrics, his coverage grade has dipped, and his missed tackle rate is among the highest of his career at nearly 10%. Even so, Baker's quickness and ability to close on the football remain elite. When used as a box safety or a blitzing defender, he can still disrupt plays behind the line and inject a level of aggression this Bills defense thrives on. The question is, does Sean McDermott want to roll the dice? McDermott is known for being cautious when it comes to introducing new players into his defensive scheme, but with the postseason in sight and key injuries mounting, Buffalo might not have the luxury of patience. A move for Baker would be expensive, both in salary and draft capital, but it could also give the Bills the spark they desperately need on defense. As the trade deadline draws closer, every phone call, every rumor, and every insider whisper will keep Bills fans glued to their screens. The message is clear: the Buffalo front office isn't done yet, and if there's an opportunity to upgrade before the clock hits zero, you can bet Brandon Beane will be ready to pounce. The coming days could define the rest of Buffalo's season, and if history tells us anything, Bills Mafia should buckle up. Something big might be coming. As the trade deadline creeps closer, the Buffalo Bills are standing at a crossroads, one that could determine the course of their entire season. With injuries piling up and depth being tested, General Manager Brandon Beane faces tough financial and roster decisions that could reshape Buffalo's defense. Let's start with the big name still floating around, Budda Baker. The All-Pro safety has been a headline attraction in trade discussions, but pulling off a move for him isn't simple. The Bills are operating with less than $2 million in cap space, which leaves little flexibility to absorb Baker's hefty salary and roster bonuses. While Baker's intensity and leadership would instantly strengthen Buffalo's secondary, the financial gymnastics required to bring him in could limit the team's future options. In short, it's a gamble. Does Buffalo go all in for a splash move, or stay disciplined and look elsewhere? Because as appealing as Baker's name sounds, his recent coverage numbers and missed tackle rates suggest he might not be the perfect fit for Sean McDermott's scheme. And when you're this close to the salary cap ceiling, every decision has to hit, there's no room for experiments. But that doesn't mean Buffalo is sitting still. Another name has started to gain traction: Logan Wilson, the hard-nosed linebacker from the Cincinnati Bengals. Unlike Baker, Wilson's trade request came this season, and the tension between him and the Bengals front office hasn't cooled down. He's still one of the most reliable tacklers in the AFC and could bring immediate stability to a Bills linebacking core that's been hit hard by injuries. According to league insiders, Wilson to Buffalo makes a lot of sense. He's young, aggressive, and fits the Bills' defensive DNA, fast, physical, and smart. More importantly, he could fill the void left by Matt Milano, who's been sidelined for multiple stretches this year, and Terrell Bernard, who's been battling a nagging ankle injury that's kept him off the field more than the team would like. Wilson isn't a flashy name like Baker, but his impact could be even more valuable. He's the kind of linebacker who reads plays before they develop, sheds blocks with power, and delivers clean, punishing hits. For a team that thrives on versatility and discipline, Wilson could be the missing puzzle piece, a stabilizer in the middle of a defense that struggled to stay consistent week to week. And let's be honest, Buffalo's defense has been good, but not great. The flashes of dominance are still there, yet the cohesion and health that once made them elite have been disrupted. Adding a dependable presence like Wilson could help restore that balance, the kind of move that doesn't just make headlines, but makes a difference on Sundays. Still, every move comes with risk. The Bills have to weigh the cost of acquiring a high-caliber player against the shrinking space beneath the cap. But if Brandon Beane has shown us anything, it's that he's not afraid to get creative when a real opportunity presents itself. The Bills are in win-now mode. This roster is too talented, this window too precious, to let it slip by without giving it every possible edge. Whether it's Budda Baker's fire or Logan Wilson's steadiness, Buffalo's front office knows one thing: the time for hesitation is over. Every great team faces a defining moment before its next run. For the Buffalo Bills, that moment is right now. And with the deadline only days away, the entire Bills Mafia waits with anticipation, wondering which name will walk through the door to push this team one step closer to glory. Week 9 is on the horizon, and for the Buffalo Bills, there's a cautious sense of optimism floating around one Bills drive. Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard, two critical pieces in Buffalo's defensive core, are finally back on the practice field, taking full reps ahead of the showdown with Kansas City. That's the good news. The bad news? History has taught Bills fans to take it slow when it comes to celebrating the return of their stars. Both linebackers have battled durability issues, and with Shaq Thompson now managing a hamstring injury, the team can't afford any more setbacks. This is why the Logan Wilson rumor refuses to go away. The Bengals linebacker, still searching for stability after requesting a trade earlier this season, remains one of the more intriguing potential targets on the market. His performance in Cincinnati has dipped, and his numbers tell the story: a missed tackle rate hovering around 10% and inconsistent coverage grades. But the Bengals defense as a whole has been struggling, surrendering 39 points to the New York Jets in their latest collapse. Sometimes a change of scenery is exactly what a player like Wilson needs to rediscover his best form. Still, there's a debate within Buffalo's front office. If Milano and Bernard are healthy and trending upward, is linebacker really where the Bills should invest their remaining resources? Or should they focus on more pressing needs elsewhere, maybe a rotational defensive back or additional depth at wide receiver? Brandon Beane is known for his patience, his ability to weigh the long-term impact over the short-term buzz. While a Logan Wilson trade could come at a bargain, especially since he's in the final year of his contract, the front office isn't expected to make a move just for the sake of making one. The Bills have bigger goals than just surviving the mid-season stretch. They're building toward January football, and every acquisition has to make sense for that mission. Buffalo's roster, when healthy, is still one of the deepest in the league. Milano brings leadership and sideline-to-sideline speed. Bernard's instincts have been a revelation. And with the defensive line continuing to apply pressure, the Bills have the foundation to compete with anyone, if they can stay on the field. But the trade deadline isn't just about who comes in, it's also about who could be heading out. Several league insiders are beginning to whisper about potential Bills players on the trading block. Depth pieces, rotational veterans, and even a few young names could draw interest from teams looking to shore up their own playoff hopes. Buffalo's front office won't make panic moves, but the phones are open. The franchise understands the urgency of this moment. This is a team built to win now, with a championship window that won't stay open forever. As the clock ticks down to the deadline, the question isn't whether the Bills can make a move, it's whether they should. Every decision from here on out could define how far this team goes when the lights shine brightest in the postseason. For now, the Bills are walking a fine line between aggression and restraint, watching the market, checking the health reports, and calculating every move with playoff precision. One wrong step could cost them. One bold move could change everything. Buffalo's next great leap might not come from outside the locker room, it might just come from getting its Warriors back to full strength.